Welcome to the Whole Food Plant-Based Cooking Show, where we make plant-based cooking easy. I'm Jill, and today we're going to make a pumpkin pie just in time for the holidays.
It's the all-free whole food plant-based cooking show.
Okay guys, the holidays are almost here, so we are going to make a delicious, creamy pumpkin pie with a cashew cream top. So what we're going to start with is our crust, but what you want to do first is get your oven preheated to 350 degrees, and for the cashew cream on the top, you want to get your cashews and your dates soaking in water. So it's in the recipe, the amounts, which is a cup of cashews and 3 dates, and we're just going to let them soak while we're putting the rest of the things together, just so it makes it easier for the blender to make it really, really creamy. All right, so we're going to start with our crust, and this is 2 cups of almond meal or almond flour, 3 tablespoons of flax meal, and I have about 1/3 cup of water, but we're gonna we're gonna pour that in as we go because you might not need all of it. Okay, so we are gonna add 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. Do this mixture first. And we're just gonna stir it up a little bit first before we add the water. Make sure that flaxseed gets all the way mixed into there. Okay, and that flaxseed meal, super, super good for you, full of omega-3s, and that's what's going to help stick all of this together. Okay, and it's a good healthy fat. All right, so we're just going to probably start with about 1/4 cup of water. And we're going to mix it a little bit, and we're going to add more water if we need it. I think we need just a little bit. So that turned out to be about 1/4 cup of water. Okay, you want to just keep mixing this until it sticks together into a ball, just like a regular pie crust would be, right? Okay. It looks like it's sticking together really well. Okay, and now I've got this is a 9-inch, or it's actually, yeah, 9.5 inch, but it's better if you have a 9-inch or even an 8.5 inch. This is probably a little bit big. Just a pie plate. It's just a glass Pyrex pie plate. So we're gonna just put the glob down in there, and you're just gonna press this. You're gonna press this so it looks like a regular pie, all the way out to the edge. You want to bring it up on the edge, probably about 1.5 inches, so you have a nice crust edge to hold that pumpkin pie filling. So I've made this pie before, not on the show, but in one of our courses. We have a holiday feast made easy course that I'll give you a link to in the details below, that we're going to have on discount for a while. So if you want to check that out, I teach you how to make an 8-course holiday meal in real time, so you can cook along with me. And one of the recipes is this pumpkin pie. I think there's mashed potatoes and gravy, a cauliflower roast. I can't remember the other things that are in there, but if you want to check that out, we'll have it on discount for a while. So I'm just making around the edge, I'm making that little scalloped kind of edge, just by kind of pushing my one finger down while I'm pushing my other finger kind of against the wall. But this is a really soft mixture, so it doesn't take much pressure to do a little bit of an edge. And it just makes it look just a little bit nicer. Kind of like what a traditional pie crust would look like. Okay, there we go. Not perfect, but this is more of a rustic pie, right? It's gonna look a little bit more rustic. Okay, so now I'm gonna grab a fork here. You need to poke the pie crust in a few places, just so that if there's any air bubbles, that air can escape and it doesn't create big lumps in your pie crust. All right, so we're gonna put this in the oven for 10 minutes. While we're waiting for that, I'd like to share with you some background on our show. The Whole Food Plant-Based Cooking Show is crowd-funded, which means these free weekly recipe videos are made possible in part by the generous patronage of our supporting members. We create this show to share all of the delicious plant-based recipes we use in our own family kitchen with the hundreds of thousands of viewers just like you who tune in each month from all over the world. Our supporting memberships offer great perks like access to our ebooks and in-depth courses, including our 28-day Plant-Based Made Easy course, where we offer a step-by-step guide to making the switch to a fully plant-based diet. If you love our content, please join us on our mission to share this life-changing message with the world and become a supporting member today by following the link in the description. Okay, let's get back to the show. Okay, so now on to the delicious filling. So I have about a cup and 3/4 of pumpkin puree. You can get it in the can. This just happens to be my pumpkins actually that I harvested last year, and I've had the puree in the freezer all year long, but it's still good. So I didn't want to waste it. So I thought, what better to make than pie? Okay. And then I have a cup and 1/3 of dates, pitted dates. 1/4 of a cup of arrowroot powder, or you could use cornstarch or tapioca starch. They all work similarly. So if you don't have one of the others will do just fine. And this is 3/4 of a cup of soy milk, but you can use whatever plant milk you choose. I just prefer to use unsweetened plant milk because the sweetness is going to come from these wonderful dates, because this is a whole food sugar. There are no refined sugars in here. I realize dates still have sugar, but all of the fiber is still intact, and it's a really good healthy sugar. Okay, and then we're going to do 2½ teaspoons of, this is pumpkin pie spice. So there's no guesswork involved in what spices are involved. But it's typically, it's like cinnamon, cloves, sometimes there's allspice. If you want to make your own, there are plenty of recipes online that will tell you the exact measurements of the spices. But I'd rather just go the easy route, choose this. It's a really good mix, perfect balance. And then 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Okay, so we're just going to blend this up until you don't see any more date chunks left. It just takes a good couple minutes in your blender. Okay, so if you look at this, you can see there's still some small chunks, and I want to make this look really creamy and uniform, so I'm going to run it one more time. Okay. All right, there we go. That is creamy and delicious looking. Smells delicious. So now we're going to set that aside because we're still waiting for our crust to finish. And now we're going to make our cream topping. It's best to make this now because as it sits while the pie is cooling, it's going to thicken up. And it kind of needs that time to thicken up. So I'm just going to drain off the water. Okay, so my dates are already in there. So this is the cashews and the dates. Then it's half a teaspoon of vanilla extract. And then anywhere from a half a cup to 3/4 of a cup of water. So I'm going to start with about a half. I have 3/4 of a cup in here. So I'm going to start with a half a cup. And then if I need to blend in more, I have it right there. And then I'm just going to use my little NutriBullet here, because we don't need a big gigantic blender for that. And actually with this amount, sometimes these bigger blenders, it's difficult to get it all blended without just scraping the thing down 500 times. These guys really do a good job. Okay, super, super creamy. So we're just gonna set this aside and wait for our pie crust to add the rest of the puree. Okay, our pie crust is out of the oven, and if you feel it, it feels kind of dry. That's perfect. It's still very hot, but we're just gonna pour our puree into there. So you just want to smooth it around really nice so it looks good. But go all the way out to the edge. Okay. And then our oven is still, I left the oven on. You leave it on at 350 because we're just going to stick this right back in the oven. Okay, there we go. That already looks so pretty. Okay guys, it is out of the oven and boy is it beautiful. Come in and take a look at this. This smells so amazing. I wish you could smell this right now. Oh, it smells so good. So I've got my cashew cream ready, and I will get a plate and I'll meet you at the table for a taste. Yay! It's time for the taste, my favorite part. So the pie has completely cooled and it smells so, so delicious. Okay. But it's always that first piece. I always have to get the first piece out. It's always terrible. It's hard to get out without ruining the pie. I'm gonna do this on the side here. Need that help. Shimmy it out a little bit. Ooh, there it goes. Look at that, it stood up perfectly. Okay, I'm gonna put a little dollop of this yummy, yummy cashew cream. Here we go. Oh my goodness. That is so creamy. And the spices are just perfect. The crust is nice and just light. So be sure to give this a like, guys, and enjoy this for the holidays. And I'll see you next time.